Hello children. Today we are starting with very important topic of organic chemistry, that is electron displacement effects in covalent bonds. There are many electron displacement effects. Now first, why displacement of electrons? Whenever we discuss any organic reaction, the displacement of electrons along carbon chain takes place due to the presence of some groups which polarizes the chain. Due to that polarization of chain, displacement of electrons takes place along the chain in either direction, whether towards the group or opposite to that group. And these displacement of electrons are very important to understand reaction mechanism. And after understanding all these effects, we can write any organic reaction very easily. We can compare different types of behaviors like stability, acidic nature, or other even different kinds of behaviors we can compare. So there are few electronic displacements like inductive effect, electromagnetic effect, resonance effect, right? So all these effects we will be discussing one by one. First, we are talking about inductive effect, a very important effect. Inductive effect. So children, what do we mean by inductive effect? To understand the real meaning of inductive effect, first we take some cases that how in inductive effect displacement of electrons takes place. The first and very important condition is this, that inductive effect always takes place in saturated chain of carbon atoms. Right? Suppose I am taking few chains, like this is one chain, this is chain length can be any beta, and at the end of this chain group X is present, and here I am taking group Y. These are two general cases I am taking. Now if group X satisfy the valency of carbon by giving hydrogen beta, because we are not going into this thing, our main interest is how this effect operates. Now we have two types of groups beta. One is electron donating group. The two types of groups are electron donating group. The second type is electron withdrawing group. Now, what is the meaning by electron donating and electron withdrawing? As the name is suggesting, electron donating means these groups, they donate electrons towards main chain. These groups, they donate electrons towards main chain, that is electron donating, like alkyl group, methyl, ethyl, propyl or any other. Alkyl groups are electron donating group. They donate electrons towards main chain. Electron withdrawing groups are the groups which withdraws the electrons from the main chain towards themselves, like NO2 group, electron withdrawing, halogen, electron withdrawing. I am not writing X here because we will be confused with this X, because this X is a general case, not for halogen, right? Any halogen, chlorine, bromine, iodine, fluorine, then COOH. Many examples are there. We will discuss all those cases. So, electron withdrawing means which withdraws the electrons from the main chain. Donating donates the electrons towards main chain. So, now for example, if Rx is the symbol for electron donating group, like I have taken X as electron donating group, Y I am taking as electron withdrawing group. So if X is the case of electron donating, means it will shift electron towards main chain. It donates electrons towards main chain. And when it donates electrons towards main chain, this group carries partial positive charge. Beta, please understand it that this is only slight shifting of electrons in a particular direction. It's not complete transference of electron. This is only slight shifting of electrons in a particular direction. Not complete transference. Note it down. So, when the electrons are slightly shifted towards main chain, this X group becomes slightly positive, delta positive. And carbon becomes slightly negative, delta negative. When this carbon becomes delta negative, of course, electron shifting takes place along the chain in this direction. But as the distance from main group decreases, the effect also decreases. Clear? So, this carbon becomes double delta negative, means even the magnitude is lesser as compared to this one. Here, the magnitude even lesser than this one. So, in this way we can say when the distance from group increases, distance from the group increases, the effect decreases. So, this is the case of plus I effect. We call it positive inductive effect. So, in case of electron donating group, the effect is termed as positive inductive effect, or in short we may write plus I effect. And after third carbon, the effect becomes negligible. So, up to third carbon, this effect is operating. Check the another case, just opposite to this. Y symbolizes electron withdrawing group, means it withdraws electrons towards itself from the main chain. So when it withdraws the electrons towards itself, it means now group carries slight negative charge and carbon slight positive. On this carbon also slight positive comes, but the magnitude even smaller than this because the distance from the group is increased. So double delta positive, and after third carbon we cannot experience this effect. So in presence of electron withdrawing group, the effect is termed as minus I effect. So beta, meaning of inductive effect is clear now to you all. So how do we define inductive effect now? Just check what's happening in inductive effect. This is the slight shifting of electrons along saturated chain of carbon atom. What is inductive effect? In general, if we take both cases, we can say slight shifting of electrons along saturated chain of carbon atoms. Why? Due to the presence of electron donating or electron withdrawing group at the end of chain. Then it is of two types, plus I and minus I. Plus I, how can we define? That this is the shifting of electrons towards main chain due to the presence of electron donating group. That is plus I effect. Minus I, how do we define? This is the shifting of electrons away from the main chain, or we can say towards the group, when electron withdrawing group is present at the end of carbon chain. This is termed as minus I effect. So now children, I think one question must be coming into your mind that ma'am, where do we use these effects? What is the application of this effect? That we discuss later. Whenever we write some chemical reactions or we have to compare stability of some species, then we will be using these effects. So definitely we will discuss the applications of these effects also. But now initially we are only discussing the intro part, that what are these effects actually. So, beta, I think this is clear to you that what is the meaning of inductive effect. So, we can say this is a permanent effect, always present in the chain of saturated chain of carbon. So, first condition, permanent effect. Second, in case of saturated chain of carbon atoms. And third, why? Due to the presence of electron donating or electron withdrawing group at the end of carbon chain. These are the conditions for inductive effect. Okay. Second effect is electromeric effect. Electromeric effect. The conditions of electromeric effects are almost opposite to that of inductive effect. Like inductive effect was a permanent effect, this is a temporary effect. Clear beta? First condition, it's a temporary effect, only takes place in presence of attacking reagent. Second type of chain in inductive, saturated chain of carbon atoms. But here unsaturated group. Unsaturation is must. So first temporary effect, where it takes place in case of unsaturated chain, only the effect takes place in presence of attacking reagent. Third difference is in inductive effect, slight shifting of sigma electrons takes place. But here complete transference of pi electrons takes place. Right, Peter? So now we discuss how this effect takes place. For example, if I am taking this group, unsaturation is must here. Unsaturation, or I can say presence of multiple bond, double or triple, any multiple bond can be there. This is first condition for inductive effect. So this unsaturation is present. Then it's a temporary effect, only takes place in presence of attacking reagent. Attacking reagent. We will take example also. First, in general, we are discussing about this. So, in presence of attacking reagent, what happens? Complete transference of pi electrons takes place. Now, as this is a case of symmetrical alkene, so we may transfer pi electron in any direction, towards right or towards left. As it is a saturated chain, so transference can take place in any direction. So when the pi electron transfers in this direction, this carbon becomes negative and this one becomes positive. So what do we get here? CH2 single bond CH2. Due to complete transference of pi electrons on this carbon, negative charge comes on this carbon and positive charge comes on this carbon. This is a case of symmetrical groups. But if the group is unsymmetrical, then what happens? Like I have carbonyl group, C double bond. So now in presence of attacking reagent, now it's not that I may transfer electrons in any direction. Now electrons are transferred in the direction of more electronegative atom, and if we compare the electronegativity of carbon and oxygen, we all know well that oxygen is more electronegative as compared to carbon. So, shared electron pair will be transferred on oxygen. So, when the shared electron pair will be transferred on oxygen, carbon-oxygen single bond, pi electron, transference of pi electron is taking place. Oxygen becomes negative, carbon becomes positive. So, beta, this is the meaning of electromeric effect. I'm repeating it. Listen. This is the, what is electromeric effect? How do we define? It is complete transference of what? Pi electrons in unsaturated system. And this is a temporary effect, only takes place in presence of attacking reagent. Now, similar to inductive effect, it is also of two types. Positive electromagnetic effect and negative electromagnetic effect. Now, how do we explain positive and negative electromagnetic effects? Like if I take a case CH2 double bond CH2 ethene, or at the place of ethene beta we may take ethyne even, because I told you unsaturation is required. It can be double bond or it can be triple bond. Plus if the attacking reagent is a proton. Now what happens here? If I am transferring electron in this direction, but as I told you, you may transfer in this direction also, because both are symmetrical, there is no change. So if electron is transferred on this carbon becomes negative and this one becomes positive. So as it becomes negative, so of course attack of H positive will take place on this carbon only. So now what do we get? CH2, as it has released its electron, so this group becomes positive. So what do we get? CH2 positive. Then single bond and CH3. This effect is termed as plus E effect. Now we take the case of minus E. We take again the case of carbonyl, aldehyde, ketone or anything, then carbonyl. If the attacking reagent is cyanide ion, of course transference of electrons takes place on oxygen, so oxygen becomes negative. So cyanide cannot attack on oxygen now, because same charges, they repel each other. So cyanide cannot attack on oxygen now. Attack of cyanide will take place on carbon. So what do we get as a result? Cyanide will be attached with carbon, single bond, oxygen, and it becomes negative. This is minus E effect. Now how do we differentiate between plus E and minus E? Just check beta this very carefully. It's simple to explain this. In this case, attacking reagent is taking position on that carbon where electrons are transferred. Right beta? What is plus E effect? When the attacking reagent takes position on that carbon where electrons are transferred. Means transference of electron and position of attacking reagent. If they are same, then that is plus E effect, positive electromagnetic effect. But if the situation is opposite, means the attacking reagent is not going on that atom where electrons are transferred, it is going on other atom, then this is minus E effect. Like here, electrons are transferred on oxygen, but attacking reagent is going on carbon. So this effect is termed as minus E effect. So understood both cases, plus E as well as minus E. Third effect is resonance effect or mesomeric effect. But let me tell you one thing, that although in most of the cases we are using the term resonance effect or mesomeric effect collectively, means rather we may write resonance effect or we may write mesomeric effect, meaning is same. But ideally speaking, there is a minor difference between these two terms. What is that difference? That I will tell you. But in general, we may use resonance term or we may use mesomerism term. But one minor difference is there that we will discuss in this lecture only. Now, first, if you remember about resonance, we discussed in bonding unit also. Again, we are doing the same thing. Basic rules for resonance are same. Just discuss again. For example, if we start with a very simple case, that is benzene, C6H6. Structure of benzene, ring of 6 carbon, alternate single and double bond. But I cannot give this single possible structure to benzene. Why I cannot give this single possible structure to benzene? What's the problem? Because if we are giving this structure to benzene, it means in benzene we have two types of bonds, carbon-carbon single bond as well as carbon-carbon double bond. So two types of bond lengths should come. If we calculate bond length experimentally, that is carbon-carbon single bond length is 154 picometer and carbon-carbon double bond length is 134 picometer. But actually when experimentally we calculate bond length for benzene, it neither comes 134 nor 154. It comes intermediate of these two, that is 139 picometer. And all bonds comes equal. There is no difference in bond length. And if there is no difference in bond length, then we cannot explain this property by taking this structure. Because here single and double bonds are present at fixed position. But this answer explains that all bond lengths are equal, means pi bond is equally shifted all around benzene ring. This phenomena is termed as resonance. So what is resonance? Whenever a single possible structure cannot explain all the properties of that compound, then we give more than one structures to that compound. And these structures are termed as resonating structures or canonical structures. And the phenomena is termed as resonance. Now, what are the criteria for resonance? Where do we get resonance? The first thing beta for resonance, conjugation is required. The meaning of conjugation is alternate sigma and pi bonds. Alteration should be there. There are some more cases also for conjugation, but here we will talk about only this one parameter of conjugation. Alternate single and double bond. Then complete delocalization of pi electrons should be there. Complete delocalization of pi electron means it should not be localized, not be present at a fixed position. It should be completely distributed. Clear this also? Next one, please note down all these parameters beta. Delocalization of pi electrons, conjugation means alternate single and double bonds. Then next, very important feature, resonance doesn't involve shifting of atoms or sigma bond. Note it down with a very important point. Resonance doesn't involve shifting of atoms or sigma bonds. Then what? It involves shifting of pi electrons and lone pair. Clear? What will we shift in resonance? Pi electrons and lone pair. Only these shiftings will take place in resonance. So now we discuss some examples, like first we start with benzene. This is one possible structure. Second possible structure, what we do with it, we shift the pi electrons, like this bond will come here, this will here, this will go like this. So this is completely delocalized pi electrons. So this is the second resonating structure of benzene. Then we draw the hybrid structure. Hybrid means combined form of all resonating structures. 2, 3, 4, whatever is the number of structures. So that now we draw the hybrid structure. No change in position of atoms as well as sigma bond. Only we are shifting pi electrons. If we compare these two structures beta, it shows pi electrons are present at every possible site. Means they are equally distributed all around benzene ring. So we show this equal distribution of pi electron. This is resonance hybrid. And one more thing, beta, resonance is actually a hypothetical phenomenon. Got it? It is hypothetical phenomena, not real phenomena. So this is the meaning by resonance. Now we take some more examples so that it becomes very clear to you. And let me tell you one few more things, that stability, on the basis of resonance we can also decide the stability. So we will apply those parameters also here. So what are the factors which decides the stability? First factor is, more are the number of covalent bonds, more will be stability. Right? More number of covalent bonds, more will be the stability. This is first parameter. Second parameter to decide the stability is neutral molecule. A neutral structure is always more stable as compared to charged one. Suppose we have two resonating structure, one is neutral and the other is charged one. So the one which doesn't carry any charge will be more stable. This is second parameter. Please beta note down all the parameters. First, more are the number of covalent bonds, more will be the stability. A neutral structure is always more stable as compared to charged one. The next parameter is, if charges are there. Suppose structure is not neutral, charges are there. Then what do we check? If negative charge is present on more electronegative atom, then that is more stable as compared to vice versa. Means negative charge is going to an electropositive atom. It will decrease the stability. Right, beta? I am repeating. Negative charge should be on electronegative atom. Positive should be on electropositive atom. That structure is more stable as compared to opposite one. And the last and very important factor for resonance is octet should be completed, except hydrogen. In hydrogen, not possible to complete octet, right? So the last one is octet should be completed. Only then that structure is considered as resonating structure. So these are some parameters. Now if we ask, benzene has two resonating structures. Out of these two, which is more stable? There is no difference in both the structures if we apply all these parameters. Number of covalent bonds are same. Both are neutral structures. No charges are there. It means both structures, they have equal stability because they both are absolutely same. Now let us discuss these two examples for resonance. First we check this CH3 CO O negative. Show the number of lone pairs. 2 on this carbon, oxygen, sorry, 3 on this oxygen. As I told you, resonance only involves shifting of lone pair as well as pi electrons. So what happens here? This lone pair will be transferred on this carbon and this pi bond shifted on this oxygen. So what will be the resonating structure? CH3 single bond C. Here again single bond comes. Single bond O and this is double bond O. Now check the number of lone pair and charges also. As this oxygen is releasing its electron pair. So only 2 pairs are left now because 1 pair is transferred here. So 2 electron pair on this oxygen. No change in carbon. this oxygen taking 1 pi electron here. So 3 electron pair and negatively charged. So these are the 2 resonating structures. Now if we have to compare the stability, first we should check the number of covalent bonds. How many covalent bonds are there? Beta, if we compare 2, 3, 4, then 1, 2, 3, 4, same. Then second step, we have to check whether structure is neutral or charged. Again, both are charged structure. So we cannot decide on that parameter also. Coming to third parameter, negative charge should be on electronegative. Oxygen is electronegative carrying negative charge. Same here, oxygen is electronegative carrying negative charge. Means no difference in both the structures. So equally stable again. Coming to next example, this, and let us see what happens here. CH2, double bond CH, then CHO, then give lone pair. And now we try to draw the resonating structure. There are 2 ways to draw. One, we can displace electron in this direction. Second, we can displace electron in this direction. First, we are displacing in this direction. So if we are displacing in this direction, pi electron is going here. And this pi electron is going on oxygen. So the first resonating structures would be CH2, single bond here now, single bond, CH, double bond, CH and single bond oxygen. Now show the charges. As this carbon is losing its electrons, so it becomes positive. No change on this carbon. Oxygen taking 1 more electron pair, so becomes negative. So this is first type of transference. Now beta, if we transfer in opposite direction, means in this direction. This is the second case I am taking now. In second case, how we transfer these charges? Like this pi bond will come here. This pi bond will come here. So here we will get a double bond. So how do I show this? CH single bond with oxygen. Because we are transferring this pi bond at this position. So here double bond comes between these 2 carbon. Double bond CH. And this pi bond will go on this carbon, CH2 group. So here there is a single bond CH2. Now check the charges beta. As this pi bond, this lone pair is, there were 2 lone pair on this oxygen, and as this oxygen has released this pi electron to carbon, means due to loss of electron, it becomes positive now. So a positive charge on this oxygen. And then this pi electron is transferred on this carbon. So this carbon becomes negative. So these are 3 resonating structures. And now we decide stability order by using those parameters which we discussed already. Just check in this first case. First we count number of covalent bonds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 covalent bonds are there. Check in this case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Less stable. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Means in these 2 cases covalent bonds are same, but this structure has more covalent bonds. So understood, first structure is more stable according to first parameter. Same according to second parameter also, this is more stable because that is a neutral structure, and these 2 structures they carry charges. That's why one thing is clear, first structure is more stable as it has more number of covalent bonds. Secondly, it is neutral also. So the most stable structure is first. Now beta compare stability of second and third. We cannot judge on the basis of number of covalent bonds because already counted equal number of covalent bonds. Then second come neutrality. Cannot judge because both structures are charged ones. Let me tell you one thing, beta. This is the priority order to decide the stability. Means first of all we have to count the covalent bonds. Second, we will be counting neutral or charged. Then at third step, we have to check the presence of charge on electronegative or electropositive waveform. So now if we check this, oxygen is electronegative as compared to carbon. So negative charge is on electronegative, positive on electropositive. But here it is opposite. Negative is coming on electropositive atom and positive is coming on electronegative atom. That will decrease the stability. So of course we can say second is more stable as compared to third structure. Right, beta? So all these were the cases of resonance, not mesomerism. Till now I haven't told you what is the minor difference between resonance and mesomerism. But wait, I will tell you that also. But that we will discuss in next video. So in this video we discussed three things. First was inductive effect, second was electromeric effect, and third is resonance effect. And then we talked about relative stability of different resonating structures. Clear, beta? So practice for all these things, and then in next video we will be talking about the basic difference between resonance and mesomerism, as well as we will be discussing about hyperconjugation effect also. Okay, beta?